Computer. Okay. Live on Facebook. Hold on one second. Let me put in the title. And today is fear. Okay, now I'm going to go live. And it's preparing, and I think it's ready to go at this point, so you're good.
All right, hello everyone. Happy Monday.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Lois. Happy Monday to everyone.
We talked last week about collaborations, and we had a comment about how sometimes we don't do that because we don't want to move forward because of pride or fear. And so I got to thinking about fear a lot this week, and why don't we do that? Why don't we move forward, and what fear actually produces in our lives? And I have been fearful a lot in my life, and it is a big topic, but it's not something that is going to go away. We all have it, and it's something that kind of can demand that we sit down and stop fighting. Or we can choose to press forward and move into a new life. And, you know, a lot of people are afraid of things like public speaking, and so they just don't do it.
Yeah.
We get to create our paths. And sometimes we do that based on the things we are afraid of. And I read a quote recently that basically talked about how fear can be the tool that lets us know what we should do, the path that we should take, because it's going to be worth it. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, man, I should make a list of all the things that I am afraid of, so that I can do them, you know? Because sometimes when we're in the fear moment, we don't think in the way that we should think to actually assess the situation. You know, we get like, it kind of overwhelms us, and we're not going to think most effectively. But if we're outside of the moment and we can think, okay, how am I, what am I afraid of? And is this a good fear or a bad fear? And how can I really step into this? Would this be something I should step into? And how is this going to be beneficial for me moving forward? Is this something that is going to really be worth it? Because maybe we're just scared of the possibilities in life, and that could really allow us to blossom. So what do you think about that?
I kind of agree, but there's also a different perspective that I have about it. In terms of fear, I think what stops me personally, or what has stopped me in the past, has been because they wanted to stay in that safe zone. And when I step out of my comfort zone, that's when I become fearful, because I have no idea what's coming next. I'm afraid of, or at least I used to be afraid of actually making it, or afraid of failing at it, or afraid of not being able to do what I've said I was going to do, or what I think I can do. Just basically doubting myself. So that's my personal dealing with fear. And what I've noticed, or what I've researched actually, when I decided to kind of jump off and become an entrepreneur, was that when you are fearful, you are right at the door of a breakthrough. That's when you really need to move forward, because you're just about to step outside of that door of comfort. And because you don't know what's coming, your unconscious wants to keep you back in the safe zone. And so it kind of tells you, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. Don't do that. And so you're like, yeah. And then you start to have a battle with this inner voice that is the one that keeps you in your safe zone and doesn't want you to move forward because it wants you to be safe. And you know that in order for you to get this breakthrough and in order for you to grow, you're going to have to go through that door, even though you don't know what's on the other side. And so that's the battle that we have with that inner voice, the one that's the self-limiting one, the one that doubts what we're capable of, the one that is afraid because we don't know what's going to happen. We may fail, we may succeed, but because we don't know, it's safer to just stay with what we know that's in the past. And so that fear, you just need to move forward anyway, because you're right at the very door of a breakthrough. When you're feeling that fear, when you're feeling that anxiety, when you're feeling that pushback, that's when you know you're getting ready to have a breakthrough. And that's when you need to move forward with the fear, move through the fear and go with it. And that's when you grow. That's when you grow. And the more you do it, the less overwhelming it is, the less stressful it is. And then you get to the point where you're like, I used to be afraid to do that. I don't feel that way anymore. Because now you know what it is, and you know it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. In fact, it can be pretty revealing about who you are as a person. It can show up some of your strengths. It can actually reveal some of the things that you were doubting that you actually are really good at, you know. And then now you've done it. It's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, I guess I could do that again. And so the more you practice, the more comfortable it becomes. The more you step out, the more you widen that circle of comfortability. And now you're kind of stepping outside the box, or at least making the box bigger, which is a good thing. So moving through the fear, I noticed for me, or even with the mistakes, because even with the mistakes, you grow. Anytime you do mess up, and that's going to happen if you're unfamiliar, it's okay, because we're human, and to err is human, right? So if you do mess up, then that's a learning. What is in that mess up for you to have learned that you can now take that lesson, make some adjustments, and step out again? So that's how I look at fear. It's just moving through the fear, which is what stops most people. But if the people that are successful move past that, that's how I work with fear, or at least how I understand fear now. It used to stop me in my tracks, dead in my tracks, and I'd be, inactive, wouldn't do anything because I was too afraid. But now it's like, you know what, doggone it, I'm gonna do it. I'm afraid, I'm scared, like I don't know what, but I'm gonna do it because I need to do it. And then once I've done it, it's like, okay, exhale.
Yeah, I used to be really scared of the mistake piece.
Yeah.
Because I thought that to fail was final. It was like a final, nobody ever sat me down and said that failure was a learning process. Like when you make a mistake, you've actually really succeeded because you've learned something new. And that's what I teach my kids. You make a mistake, that's a great thing. You don't have to get an A on your test because you just learned something new, and next time you're going to do it better. Next time you're going to do it better. That was always really hard for me because everything was final. And now I know that I'm learning all the time. Like everything is a learning experience. And I'll do it better next time. Now my fears have changed.
What are
There's
the
always-
fears now?
there's
It's always
always-
something, right?
There's always something new, right?
It's always something.
But there's still a choice. There's still a choice to make how I handle that, and do I step into it or walk away? And I think like right now I really struggle to like let my writing out into the world. Like that's a big thing for me, you know.
We're gonna have to let go of that.
And what is it to just sit with me, right? So yeah, it's all good things, but do you find you've had any are there any tools you use to get past fear in your experience?
Well, it's just a practice. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have said that, but because this last 6 months have been when I've now embarked on this entrepreneur journey and taken some, done some research, done some self-development, done some mindset work, realize that in order to grow, I've got to move past the fear. And so even as uncomfortable as it is, I've got to get used to that uncomfortability piece, because what I've done in the past, I've not done that. And I've basically stayed at a certain level because I get to a certain point and I don't move past that. But that got to be more painful than me wanting to grow. The past became too painful. So once it became too painful, and I had just been sick and tired of the same old, wanting something different, needing to do something different, I realized I have to go through that uncomfortability piece, because that's what stopped me in the past. But then having done some self-development work, realizing that the most successful people have fear. The most successful people have failed, not once, not twice, many times over before they make it. And so given that, then it's okay then for me to fail. So now I'm beginning to change the way I feel about making mistakes. I'm beginning to change the way I feel about messing up. And so because that's changing, and because I'm looking at now possibility past the fear, I'm kind of dealing with the fear, taking a deep breath, and moving forward anyway. You know, and once I declare it to people too, I notice that it's like I have to do it now because I've said it. I put it out there, I've spoken it, or I put it in writing, and I put it out there, and people now are expecting me to do what I just said I was going to do. So that kind of keeps me accountable. And then it's also good. That's why I like collaboration too, because we talked about collaboration last week, and I like that because when you have now declared a thing, you are not now just declaring it to yourself, you've declared it to the world, or you've put it out there in the atmosphere. And so now you're going to have to, do it or get off the pot, right? Because you've now put it out there. What you've spoken now has to come to fruition. And what you said to people, they're going to expect you to do that, especially if you have authenticity, right? If you want to be authentic and you want to be your true self, you're going to have to now manifest what you said. So what you speak, you become, and what you become, you are. So that's the record now I'm playing in my head, and not, oh, you're a failure. Oh, you're not that good. Oh, you're not that smart. That record, I'm trying to just push that further back into my mind and look at, okay, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be an adventure. And I may mess up, but guess what? It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So the conversation is changing for me. The conversation that I have with myself and my self-conscious, I kind of tell my self-conscious to go take a back seat because I'm doing this. I'm doing it. Take a back seat.
Doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. So yeah, so that's, what about you? Do you have any techniques that you use in terms of Because I know that probably a year ago or 6 months ago, you're not the same person either. Because you know you're doing things now today that you weren't doing a few months back.
No, I pray and I press in to
Yeah.
to the to the thing. You know,
Yes.
um, I I fight with myself a lot, and I take a while um, to move forward in it. But usually, um, I will end up stepping right into the center of whatever it is that I'm afraid of, and realizing that it's not that big a deal.
Exactly, exactly. Which is why we need to get your writing out there to the world, right? Which is exactly why we need to do that. Because I
And
know you can write. So it's not a
it
matter
really,
of,
it really has been funny. The things that I've been afraid of have all at some point seemed to come full circle, and they become the things that are part of you and are what you can then share with the world.
Mhm.
At least in my case, they're now what I pieces of me that I can offer other people.
Yeah.
So that has been a gift to be able to realize that I can step into those things. Um, and I don't know, maybe that's part of the gift that my condition has been is that I'm going through something hard a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, might as well do another hard thing, you know.
You
um,
know, I don't know
yeah,
if you find also that when you do finally step off the cliff, different doors open for you, different opportunities open. Have you found that to be so? I found that to be so. And that has been so empowering because once I have made the decision that I'm going to do something that I've been afraid of in the past, and I make a decision to do it, and I actually make the first step, things start to align. People start to come in my path. Opportunities seem to present themselves. It's like, wow, why did I wait so long? Right? And I find that to be really empowering to do it the next time because just the way you and I met, for as an example, right? I was very skeptical about answering anybody on Facebook, and you were skeptical about reaching out to people. But how we met, we had something higher than us, bigger than us, that was prompting us to do what we did. For me to respond, for you to reach out, and for that connection to be made. Once we follow the decision, or once we follow the promptings, or once we follow the urgings or the dreams that we have, or the words that people speak to us through other people, um, things start to happen and shift. And I've noticed that to be true these last few months. Um, that is empowering for me. That is also reaffirming for me in that what I was afraid of, see, you were supposed to do that because look at all these things now lining up. Look at all these people that are now presenting themselves as opportunities for you to work with. Look at all these opportunities for you to, someone to help you when you don't know something, to help you. That all of a sudden this person appears that can help you with that one thing that you needed help with. It's really, really amazing, empowering. And I do believe in divine intervention. I do believe in the divine power. And I do believe that once you follow the urgings, or once you follow the gifts you've been given, he starts to align things and starts to open up opportunities for you. And I really believe that's been happening in my life. I truly believe that.
yeah, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah.
to continue to see where you get to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just so glad that we both followed that still small voice. Because we've come a long way since we've met and had grown a lot since we've met. And yes, we've had some ups and downs in terms of collaboration, but guess what? There's possibility in that because now we know what to do differently next time around. And it's an adventure. It really is. And it's an empowering one because you kind of get to discover and learn things as you go. And you've got someone that you're going through it with. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, which doesn't always make it less terrifying, but I think it helps.
Yes. Misery loves company.
Oh, that's good.
So to
stuff.
speak. So to
Yeah,
speak.
so to speak.
So to speak. So yeah, so that's what we wanted to talk about today was fear and just being able to move through the fear. It is a scary place, but once you kind of work with it and walk with it, it becomes less of a scary thing. It's, you know, once you get the monster out of the cabinet, it's you can't really put the monster back in the cabinet, right? It's not so overwhelming the second time you do it, the third time you do it, the fourth time you do it, and it just becomes more comfortable for you. And so now it leaves some room for you to discover something else that's new and scary.
Yeah, I encourage the assessment, the writing down the list of things you're afraid of, and asking yourself the questions. Why am I afraid of this?
Yeah.
Is this something that is worth stepping into?
Yeah.
So
anything that challenges us, I think, is worth it. Once you're challenged past your comfortable zone, that's a good thing. I think that's a positive thing because it means growth, and it means growth. It means expansion. It means stepping outside of your comfort. I think it's a positive thing when you're challenged, because when you're challenged and your mind is telling you, no, don't do it, that's when you really need to move forward and press in. Like you say, pray and move forward and press in. That's when you really need to do it, because that's where the breakthrough happens. So I think those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves, and just realize that when you're challenged, that's the beginning of something great and big and beautiful for you. So move forward anyway, even with the apprehension. So,
yeah. Have a wonderful Monday, everyone. Or do you have any last closing comments, Jenice?
No, I just want everyone to have a wonderful week. We get 2 more weeks before Christmas, so hopefully you've all done your Christmas shopping and all your buying and shopping for the holidays and decorating for the holidays. I'm looking forward to it. Probably be doing some virtual meals with my friend and my godchildren and doing some stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to it this year because it's a different year and moving into my own kind of journey, and it's gonna be a good holiday. It's gonna be a good holiday. I'm claiming it to be a good holiday. So that's it. And a new week. So everyone have a great week.
Awesome. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Next time. Have a good one.